morning, everyone. Happy Thursday. We're almost there.
We are.
Hope you're having a good week. Welcome to our Thursday morning gathering, brought to you by Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare and Tufts Health Plan. This is a place where we invite experienced mindfulness instructors to speak with us about what mindfulness means to them and to discuss as a community how we can incorporate these practices into our daily lives. I'm Suzanne Rowe Palacino, and I'm delighted, as always on Thursdays, to be here with Tara Healey, founder and director of Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare's mindfulness program. Good morning, Tara.
Good morning, Suzanne. And I am, as always, delighted to be here with you every Thursday and with this community. So welcome to everyone.
Yes, we're happy to have you here. And yes, a special welcome to everyone this morning. We'd like to welcome anybody that happens to be new and joining us this morning. So we're really happy to have you joining, and hopefully you will consider joining on a regular basis. We have a number of regulars that are here every morning, and it's gotten to be quite a nice community. So happy to be here with all of you. If you are new, we typically start the morning out with a question. So Tara will share that with us this morning, and she'll then share a few words and then lead us right into at least a 12-minute guided practice and a mixture of guidance and a little bit of silence. And then after that, we'll have time for questions or any comments that folks might have. So if you go to the bottom of your Zoom screen, open up your chat. And then at the bottom of the chat screen, there's a host and panelists blue drop-down menu, and you can just click on that and change it to everyone, and we can see your comments as you share them. All right, so with that, Tara, what do you have to start us off with this morning?
Yeah, so the question that I have is, what is a skill or a talent that you have always wanted to learn? So something you've always wanted to learn. And maybe even we could add, and what might be holding you back? Although you don't have to answer both parts, but what's a skill or a talent you've always wanted to learn? And if you want, what might be holding you back from that? And we typically start, the two of us. So I'm going to hand it over to Suzanne and see what.
Yeah, so I've always wanted to learn how to paint. And I have one of my daughters in particular is so talented. She has painted most of her life and just really, really talented. So I'm actually really close to doing that. I will likely do something in the fall, just looking for a particular class. So that's something that I feel like I could really lose myself in that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That I didn't know that. And interesting, wondering if your daughter is getting that talent from you, and you have this latent talent that you have not explored.
Maybe, although my husband's pretty good too. So yeah.
Wow.
It's very artistic.
Oh my God. In all the years I've known you, I did not know that. All right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. How about you? What comes to mind?
There's a few things. I have always wanted to learn another language. So I've always wanted to learn another language. And I've also always wanted to learn to play an instrument. And that part I am learning guitar, acoustic guitar, and learning as an adult. It's really hard. It's hard. It's quite a complex instrument, and but I'm sticking with it. But learning a language, is something I've always wanted as well.
Yeah.
So what do we have?
How good that is for, learning something new is always just, it's known to be so good for our brains anyway, right?
Right. Yeah. No. Yeah, exactly. And just right, stretching in a particular way. And, the relation to mindfulness is that it requires quite a lot of attention, awareness, concentration, focus, which, we cultivate through meditation. And so I feel like this practice is such a nice foundation for learning something new, and also for being present with the frustration, which I've had a lot of frustration as I'm learning to play guitar, but just the, the practice is really helpful to see that, contracting and not switching the chords quick enough, or having some ideas of how, what it should look like. And then bringing kind of just a lens of kindness and compassion to the learning process. So, yeah, curious. Let's
Yeah,
see.
some good things here. Embroidery. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
lovely skill. Singing in
yeah.
front of people in public.
Mm,
Yes. How to spin a wood bowl. Yes, lack of
lack
access
of
can be,
access. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Crocheting.
Crocheting an animal.
Huh.
Yeah, cost of lessons and commitment. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like, especially when the cost is higher than you are
Yes.
hoping, you really want to commit to it. So,
Yeah.
and photography, that's another thing I felt like as well. Getting
Yes.
more lessons in photography, beading and bookmaking.
Mm.
Ooh, cool.
Yeah, really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, interesting too, I think, because cost for certain things can be prohibitive. It's like, it just so happens I found somebody who had never taught, never given lessons. So he greatly reduced his fee because he's also learning how to teach. So it worked out really, worked out well. But yeah, but music lessons are expensive, and that, yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah, lots
So
of good things there. Yeah.
yeah. Well, in the spirit of cultivating this kind of steadiness of mind, let's go ahead and move into a practice. And as Suzanne said in the beginning, often when I lead, I will let stretches of silence pass without speaking, but know that it's still ultimately being guided. But it's an opportunity when you have, say 3 minutes or so before hearing any words, to really see what arises, how thoughts slip in, and you can notice, to really watch frustration, because there's nothing wrong with a thought slipping in. You're actually doing it correctly. So the idea is, a thought slips in, and your mind might be chomping away before you are aware of it, and then all of a sudden you become aware. Not a problem. It's helpful to make a soft mental note, thinking. There's always a subtle contraction when thoughts slip in the body. So typically what I do is say thinking, or I might be more specific, like planning. Soften the body, and then just escort your attention back to whatever you're using to anchor, to bring your attention back to breath sensation, tracking it wherever in the body you feel it most prominently. And that could be just the movement of the in-breath and the out-breath anywhere in the body. And you have alternatives, which I'll talk about, but using like the palms of your hands resting on your thighs. So if breath doesn't work for you, you can rest your hands on your thighs and use the feeling of that point of contact as your anchor. Sound is also another one. So let's go ahead and move into practice. So seated or standing or even lying down, although if you're tired, I would say lying down is probably not a great option. But so taking a moment to just find a position that's going to serve you best this morning, and make any micro movements in the body so that you're sitting in a way that's upright and engaged, with a spine that is straight but not stiff. And arriving in this moment, letting go of all that has happened so far this morning, and releasing anticipation of what's to come. Bringing the mind and the body together. And the eyes can be open or closed. If they're open, gaze downward a little bit. And often I begin with just 2 deep breaths. So on your own, do a couple deep breaths as a way to settle any surface tension. See if you can make your exhalation just a little bit longer than the inhalation. So go ahead and do that. And bringing full awareness to the whole body. So noticing the points of contact along the back of the body and the surface, including the soles of the feet. And again, we're really bringing, what does it feel like internally? What is the feeling of that point of contact? And what other sensations are making themselves known to you? So, from the activity of your day, pulsing, vibration, tingling, temperature, points of contact. So whole body awareness, just receiving the sensations being offered. And let's take a moment to expand awareness to include sound that may be in the room or outside of the room. Making a soft mental note, hearing, but widening and broadening awareness from whole body to the room and outside of the room, aware of sounds arising and passing. And allowing sound to remain as it will in the background. Begin to bring awareness back inward to the whole body. And taking a moment to see what's going to serve you best as an anchor for the wandering mind. Something that you will return to over and over again as the mind wanders, as thoughts slip in. They usually slip in unnoticed and then they become noticed. And that's a really pure moment of mindful awareness, the seeing of the thinking mind, the softening of the body, and the returning to your anchor, just over and over again. So taking a moment to see what anchor is going to serve you this morning. Sound, breath sensation anywhere in the body, whatever is easiest and the most feeling when you breathe in and out. Could be belly, chest, nostrils, or just the movement, that you feel the movement of the in-breath and the out-breath in a broader way. Or you could use the points of contact with the back of the body or palms of the hands resting on the thighs. So settling in with one particular anchor that we'll use for the remainder of the practice this morning. And noticing where the mind is, releasing the narrative, the planning, the memory, softening the body, and returning to whatever you're using as an anchor. And tracking sensation or tracking sound. And again, noticing where the mind is. Soften the body and simply return. And as we bring this meditation to a close, may we be peaceful and at ease. May our heart be soft and open. May we be safe and protected, and our bodies healthy and strong. And as you feel ready, taking a moment, opening the eyes if they were closed, if you feel ready, and if the eyes were open, either way, take a moment to reorient to the room you're in. So usually do a little bit of a stretch, kind of look around a bit. Yeah,
Thank you, Tara.
of course. Yeah. So as usual, we have an opportunity to share resources. So again, if any of you have come across a book or an app or, something that has been really supportive to your practice, to you, to your well-being, please share in the chat. We'd love to hear. And it's just a nice way to use the community to bring together different things that you've come across that are helpful and supportive. And of course, it's also an opportunity to ask a question or make a comment, anything about your practice at all. Oh, good, Susan. Yeah, I feel like a lot of those reminders just about kind of what this practice is, and you can't say it enough, that I think it's valuable to hear over and over again, especially that the mind wanders. And this is kind of the nature of all of our minds. Mine certainly wanders. You can pretty much count on every time I say, notice where the mind is, that I had been lost in thought. And so, just to really emphasize that you're all doing it correctly when your mind wanders, when you notice it, regardless of how long you've been lost in a memory or a story, some narrative. Noticing, releasing, softening, and returning. That's it. That is the practice.
Yeah, and the fact that we're doing that regularly helps us to our minds to learn to come back and to,
Yeah.
we talked about this the other day, to do this during our regular day, like
Yes.
realizing we're maybe not paying attention to someone who's speaking to us, or
Yes. Yes.
not, getting lost during a time when we feel like we would like our attention to be more focused.
Yeah, no, really, really good point, Suzanne. And it kind of reminds me of one of our instructors talking about this idea of reverse engineering practice. So starting with daily life, as opposed to starting with sitting on a cushion. So starting with washing dishes or listening, having a conversation and really, listening to that person, noticing the drifting or the thoughts that you might be having about what's being said, and how we drive, and I loved that idea, that sort of reverse engineering. I would add that I think they both support each other, that I think this having some kind of a regular seated practice or standing is going to help inform those moments in daily life. And the daily life practices, could be anything from even just opening the door and going outside and aware of, touching the doorknob, like things that we're not always so aware of.
Mm-hmm.
And, I noticed it this morning. I was running up the stairs to grab something, but I was thinking about other things and I tripped. And I just was like, just coming back just to walking up the stairs and really noticing how the body feels, and really seeing where I am. And it's just so interesting too, how mistakes can happen when we're not present, or, there can be a risk, a detriment, depending on the situation, to not being present. And it's not really about being constantly on high alert. Like, that's not what it is. But, as that research out of Harvard showed, about 50% of our waking hours were lost in thought.
Mm.
And, yeah, there's a way that we can train ourselves to be more present when it's really neat, when it's important to be present.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you remind me that with tripping on the stairs that as we get older, it's so important that we develop these practices because, I have a friend whose mom just in the last year has, fallen or tripped 4 times, and
Yeah,
he really feels like she's
yeah,
rushing around and not
right,
thinking.
right, right.
And as we get older, these things could happen more often. So if we cultivate these practices, can be helpful.
Yep, yep. And it's a good reminder to cultivate these practices, that it's not just quote on the cushion that we're developing this, awareness of mind and body, but the idea is to then employ it off the cushion in the service of our day-to-day life. And
Right.
yeah, so
So
it's
true.
yeah,
And as Loretta has shared, she had a moment of mindfulness while she was having her teeth cleaned this morning. I have to do the same thing this morning, so I'm going to do that.
yes.
I'm going to repeat your process there. It's a good thought.
Yeah, no, it really is. And just to know that in informal things like that, getting your teeth cleaned and all of that, that, throughout the whole day, whatever we incline our minds to on a regular basis, we're actually training. So you're practicing throughout the day, every time you're present, when you're getting your teeth cleaned or you're driving your car, or, it's all, yeah, there are so many opportunities to practice throughout the day. And again, it's not a tight, like, I have to be present, because there
Mhm.
is benefit to mind wandering too. So yeah.
Well, I
but
mean, you can take your mind off something that, if it's something's a little painful, it can
yes,
try to,
that's right.
move your
You
mind
can
in a different direction.
and be more facile with how you redirect, like real
Mhm.
awareness of redirecting. Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
So
thank you everyone for all of your comments this morning. And Tara, thank you for guiding us as always.
you are welcome. And I will be on vacation next week, so I won't see you on Thursday, but there will be a replacement, and I'll look forward to returning the following week.
Sounds good. Have a
Yeah.
wonderful, enjoyable vacation.
Thank you.
And we'll be back here on Tuesday with Jackie Johnson. So,
Great. Okay,
yeah.
good. Good.
All right.
All
See everybody
right.
soon. Have a good
Yeah.
rest of your week and weekend. Bye-bye.